Hey, you no-good, grubby little leech. I want to know just how long you plan on surviving off of all my dad's hard work. Don't you realize we'd all be so much happier if you just got out of our lives? I haven't heard from you in so long, and this is the way you break the silence? I feel like you've been completely ignoring me around the house as well, you know. I really don't know what's gotten into you, but I'm starting to get a bit sick of it. I mean, you're not even cooking the meals that I'm making for you anymore. And just who do you think you are talking to me as if you're my real mom, huh? You really need to remember your place in this family, you parasite. I'm sorry that you don't like the way I worded things, but I don't see how anything I said was false. I don't care what's true and what's false. I just know that I want you out of our lives. I really don't understand. Why are you coming to me and saying all of this all of a sudden? It's not so sudden for me. I know that my dad and I are going to be just fine on our own. We don't need some outsider leeching off of my family's wealth anymore. I'm sorry you feel this way about me, but maybe you should talk about these feelings with your father first. Then maybe we could all talk about this together with each other. Maybe your dad would even agree to move out and take you somewhere. And just why would my dad have to do something like that, huh? It's his house. If anyone should have to leave, it should be you. I really think that you should talk to your father about this before we carry on with this talk. Besides, I make $100,000 a year. What am I leeching off of anyone? I think you just want me out of the house is all. But what I don't get is what you think you're going to gain by doing so. What am I going to gain? Well, that should be obvious. I'll finally be ridding my family of a disgusting parasite that's been living off of us for years. Even Dad is getting sick of having you around. He's always talking about how he has to work all day, but you always spend all of his money. Meanwhile, you hardly leave anything for him to spend on himself. Did your dad really say that? Even about him having to work every day? Well, it's true, isn't it? You're always coming and going to and from the house whenever you want, but Dad only ever goes to work and comes home, and that's all he has time for, and it's all your fault. You keep a short leash and don't let him live his life the way he wants. I hate what you're doing to him. Tina, I really think that you need to get a grip and reassess the situation. And I don't say that for my sake, but for yours, okay? Just what do you know, huh? Don't pretend as if you know what I want. I know that you're a selfish woman who only ever does things for herself. That's why I want you out of our lives forever. I am trying to tell you that you're making a mistake here. You really need to go and talk to your dad about this. He can explain it all. Let me go and talk to him for a moment, and then I'll come back to you, okay? Can you please just give it a rest already with what you say to Tina?
What the heck are you talking about? I don't really care, but can you lend me some money? I'm almost through my budget for the month, and I need more. Come on. You know that you don't give me enough anyways. Just give me a little more.
You want even more money? What happened to all that I gave you already? How did you spend it all so quickly? Anyways, we're going to be talking about money after I say what I came here to say. You need to have a real conversation with your daughter and tell her the truth about what's going on. The more you put that off, the worse my relationship gets with her. I am tired of her talking down to me, insulting me, and treating me like an idiot because of you, Todd. I am seriously starting to reach my limit. Do you understand me?
I don't know what you want me to do. She's your daughter now too, you know. Go be a good mom and learn how to control your children better.
Control her? Todd, she's already 17 years old. This isn't about controlling her, it's about giving her the information she needs to make her own decisions about life. You have to stop lying to her and telling her false information. She blames me for every single problem we have. It isn't fair that I should be the one taking all of the heat because you don't want to step up and tell her the truth. All of this would be solved if you weren't such a coward.
I will talk to Tina about my life when I'm good and ready to. Okay?
No, not when you're ready to. Now. You've been saying, when I'm ready, for years now. Don't you realize how this is affecting us as a whole family?
Yeah, of course. I know all that. And if you just give me a little more money, I'll really think about saying something. I promise. Now come on. I'm seriously down to my last few dollars. You've got to give me something.
You really are just the worst. Do you realize that, Todd? Hey there, Anna. I see that you've left for the day. You know that you don't need to bother coming back home ever, right? And just what is that supposed to mean? And since when did you start calling me by my first name? I mean that if you're already out of the house, you should stay out. All you do is make things worse, so just keep away. If you have something you want to say to me, why don't you just come out and say it? Well, I actually sent off the divorce papers for you and Dad. That means that you and him don't need to live together anymore. Dad and I are going to live together, and you'll have to go and figure out your own life. So you really did send the divorce papers for your father and I? And just how did you manage to get away with doing something like that? Well, you probably had no idea about this, but Dad had already printed out the divorce papers and kept them in his desk. I happened to see where he put them one day when he tried to hide them from me, and so I dug them out while he was away. I saw that he had already signed his name all where it needed to be. I really do need to thank Dad for being so prepared. So then you sent out divorce papers that your dad had already signed without telling either of us? I have to say that I am shocked at you. And since you don't even have a job, you probably won't be able to find a place to live now, too. I warned you that you should do a little more research into this before acting, but are you sure you really want me out of the house? Of course I am! This is what I've been waiting for forever! I feel like I'm having a dream come true! I'm finally getting to squash the horrible leech that's been on the side of my family for years. I feel at ease. It's like a great burden has been lifted off of our shoulders and the sun has come out after a rainy day. Just the thought of you being cold and homeless on the street is bringing me so much joy! Well, if this is what you really want, good luck, I guess. The one who's going to need luck is you! Whatever you say. I guess I'll take my leave from the house then. But I just have one last thing that I think you should know before I leave. And what last pathetic words do you have to say to me? I'm not the one who doesn't have a job. That would be your father. Wait, what is that supposed to mean? I mean that you said your father told you that he goes to work every day. That's a lie. All he does is spend his days at the casino wasting our money. Wait a second, you expect me to believe that? That's just ridiculous. Why would Dad lie to me about working? And why would he be spending all day gambling? I suppose this really is the first you're hearing about all of this then. But it's true. I'm afraid that everything your father said about me was just to protect his own reputation in your eyes, Tina. I don't get what you mean. This doesn't make any sense. Why would he need to worry about his reputation with me? I don't know. You should ask what he would have to gain by belittling me in front of you like he has been. He wanted you to take his side in everything. And you fell for it like a sucker. You defended him no matter what I tried to say, and you believed every lie he told you about me. No, this doesn't make any sense. You better start explaining yourself right this moment. In that case, one other thing you should know is that no matter how much your father put me down, he never wanted to throw me out of the house. And yet little did he know that he was pushing you to do just that to me with all of his lies about me being jobless. No, this can't be right. You're just trying to lie to me because you realize that you're getting kicked out. Well, I'm not listening. You're just some crazy old jealous loser. You can believe me or not. It won't really make any difference. But the truth is that I was giving your father money every month. He hasn't made his money in a long time, and yet you listened to everything he had to say about me. You really don't know when to stop all this, do you? I already said that I'm not listening to a word that you have to say anymore. Again, you are more than welcome to ignore all that I'm saying. But quite frankly, I've had enough of you two as well. But soon you'll be an adult, and you'll have to take responsibility for taking care of yourself. And then you'll have to choose whether to keep living with your father or go out on your own. I've actually learned how to take care of myself for a while now. We don't need you in our life anymore, so just beat it. Well, okay. But you do realize that if I leave, that means I won't be supporting you or your father anymore, right? There you go again, making up more lies. What support have you ever given? You really think that I'm going to fall for that? You act like you've given Dad and I everything when all you've done is taken. I know you're lying, so just stop it already. I'm not trying to upset you, Tina. I really am just trying to warn you. I just hope you don't regret what you're doing. Just shut up already, you old hag. Don't pretend like you're all that when you're really nothing. I never, ever want to see you again. You were never my mother, and I'm glad you're gone. Don't ever think of me as your daughter again. As of today, you're nothing to me. We are complete strangers. Okay then, I understand. I am not your mother, and you are not my daughter. Now, please don't come to me for anything else. Hey! Pick up the phone when I'm calling you, you stupid old witch! Can't you tell that your daughter is panicked? I'm sorry, but I'm in the middle of work right now. Besides, I thought that you said you were going to stop calling me. But you were telling the truth about everything! I know that. What of it? Well, so now I finally know that you were. Please, you have to come back home to us. Dad is so mad all the time. I need your help. I really have no idea what you're talking about. Besides, I don't even have a daughter. What do you mean? How can you say that? I didn't. You did. You told me to never think of you as my daughter again. So I'm sorry that you're having a rough time right now, lady, but that doesn't have anything to do with me. Anyways, goodbye. Hold on a second. Is this supposed to be some kind of joke? I'm your daughter. You can't just walk away from me. I'm sorry, but I've already told you that I don't have a daughter. We're just strangers to each other, remember? Wait, no, you're not really going to abandon me, are you? I didn't know Dad doesn't make any more. And he's so mad at me for sending the divorce papers. He's so scary and angry all the time now. I don't understand what happened. So I guess you finally understand the kind of man your father is now. What do you mean by that? I mean that I was always trying to protect you from him, but maybe that was my mistake. Because he took advantage of that and lied to you about me instead. But I had no idea he was that kind of person. I thought that my dad was kind and sweet, and what should I do now? He doesn't have money, he doesn't work, he doesn't do anything but gamble and drink. I suppose you'd better find a job and start working then. But I'm still in high school. I could only work a part-time job at best, and I have no idea how I'm supposed to go to college at this rate. Yeah, and to think you wouldn't have had to take out any loans if I was still around. What do you mean? You're not going to send me to college either? Well, I had a whole college fund saved up for my daughter, but since we're no longer family, I'm afraid that I can't pass that on to you. So I'm afraid the only option left for you now is to work for your money. Mom, please, you have to help me. Please don't call me Mom. I already told you that I don't have any children. You and I are nothing to each other now, and I owe you nothing. You wanted it this way despite my attempts to warn you, and now you need to take responsibility. You're almost 18, so consider this your first real life lesson. But I had no idea that Dad was lying to me. This isn't fair! How was I supposed to know that you were making all the money in our house? I tried to tell you the truth over and over again, but you just refused to listen to me. Well, then can I at least come and live with you? I hate living with Dad. He's so scary all the time. I'm so sorry for everything that I said to you. I'm afraid that I have a policy against letting strangers stay in my house. Besides, how do I know that you won't just fall into your old ways of looking down on me and insulting me all the time? But I need your help. I don't know what else to do. Well then, take your first step as an adult and figure out what to do. Good luck, stranger.
In the end, Tina realized that I was only ever trying to tell her the truth, and that it was her father who was lying to her this whole time. It was quite a shock for her to realize this, and she fell into a deep depression afterwards. Shocked by learning about her father's true nature and forced to start working to take care of herself, Tina ended up dropping out of high school and working to sustain herself and her father. She tried to message me asking for help, but I had already blocked her on everything by then. I do plan on stepping in to help her eventually, but if I'm going to pour all my money and heart into raising her, I think Tina needs to learn some lessons about the real world before I put her back on track.
Hey, you low-life loser. I heard you've gotten married, LOL. I'm so surprised that there's actually someone on this planet that's willing to marry a woman like you, LOL. Don't tell me that this is going to be some kind of fraudulent marriage, right?
Eleanor, it's been a long time. What's with you coming out of nowhere to say these things to me? I'm sure you've heard from someone that I've gotten married, but I'm not sure who'd tell you that. Is there really a reason for you to be making fun of me already?
I have every right to be making fun of a worthless person like you. Did you forget about the days we spent together back in high school? You were so poor that you couldn't even come with the rest of us on our senior graduation trip, LOL.
And it's because of the way you always messed with me and picked on me in high school that I've had to live with such awful memories of those times. But we're both now in our 30s, right? Is there really a need for you to still be picking on me at our age?
When I'd heard that you'd gotten married, I thought it'd be a good idea to give you a text.
Well, thank you for going out of your way to contact me. Now, I have to get going.
Who the hell did you end up marrying?
I don't think that has anything to do with you.
It doesn't, Jane, but I want to know. Do you mind answering me? If you're choosing not to tell me, then I'll just assume that all this talk about you getting married is fraudulent.
I married a fisherman.
Huh?
The reason I don't want to tell you more is because this is his information to tell, not mine. So I really don't see myself telling you any more than that.
A fisherman? What the? LOL. You both really are made for each other, LOL. Neither of you will have any money.
Huh? What makes you have that idea of him?
Well, I went to a really high-end university, LOL. I have every right to say that marrying a fisherman like him is the most uncool thing imaginable, LOL.
Well, I'm sorry about that.
I turned out to be the wife of a banker.
Well, I'm glad that you were able to find a man with such a job to take care of you. But when you say a banker, what bank is he in charge of? He might own one of the banks that my husband works with.
Are you kidding me? LOL. What makes you think a fisherman would ever work with a bank that my husband runs?
Well, when we've talked about his work, he says he has accounts with all kinds of banks in the area. I think managing 30 or so. So I'm sure that my husband would know your husband's bank. It's not that big of a city anyways, and so there's a definite chance that he's at least heard of your husband's bank.
Your husband's a fisherman, right? I can already tell that you're just full of crap now that you've lost at the game of life, LOL. You married a man that only has $30 in his accounts, LOL.
Huh? I never said $30, did I?
A banker's wife and a fisherman's wife. Which do you think is better? By now you should realize that you could only speak to me when I ask a question from you.
What do you mean better? I don't think you should be thinking of us like that.
Well, I've always known that ever since I first met you, you'd be garbage. But it seems as an adult, you've only managed to become a bigger piece of garbage, LOL.
All right, say whatever you'd like. But if you plan to keep talking about me like that, can you just stop talking to me?
This weekend there's going to be a class reunion. Do you plan on coming? You probably can't come, LOL. You won't be able to pay the entrance fee, will you, LOL?
I'm planning on going, though.
Really? LOL. Even though you've married a moneyless fisherman, do you really think you'll be able to get in? I think you're better off trying to save any money you can since you don't have much, LOL.
You're worrying about me way too much. But thank you anyway. I plan on going to that reunion. But while we're there, you don't have to force yourself to come talk to me. Now, I really have to get going. I don't think I should go to this weekend's reunion.
Huh? Why not?
Well, I just got some really disturbing messages from a really disturbed classmate of mine. And now I don't really want to see her face again.
A disturbing message from a disturbing classmate? You seem to really hate whoever this is.
Well, yeah, I actually do. Ever since high school, I've hated being around her. And since then, I've enjoyed not really having to think about her. And no, she thinks she's some big shot because she's married to a banker. And now she thinks it's okay to look down on me because I have no money and am married to you.
It's rare that I see you talk about someone in this way.
I think so as well. But when it comes to people I hate, I have to say she's the only one that comes to mind. I'm sorry for coming at you about her out of nowhere. You don't have anything to do with any of this, so just forget about what I said.
Well, now that you mention it, one of the bankers that I work with's wife happened to go to the same high school as you, I think.
Really?
Well, a while back we had talked about it, and I'd assumed I'd find out this weekend if his wife really did go to school with you. But now that you brought this up, I think it's true. Back when he and I talked, we didn't go into much detail though.
I see. Do you mind telling me the name of that banker later on? I have some things I'd like to talk with him about.
If you can't even pay to get in, you should go home, LOL.
Don't think you can just get away with doing something like this.
With doing what, LOL? I had to do this to someone as low as you. And when you just waltz into this reunion without a care in the world, I had no choice. Have your eyes been opened after being kicked in the butt?
Do you think you can get away with anything because you're a banker's wife? You tried to get everyone to laugh with you and understand you after kicking me in the back and having me fall down those stairs. Do you really think that normal people act like that?
You couldn't even pay to be here today, so you should just leave, LOL. This isn't the kind of place where a poor person can just stand around. Everyone started to leave when they saw you come in.
No, I don't think I was the reason for everyone starting to walk out. I'm sure they didn't want to stick around any longer with someone that kicks another person down and begins to laugh about it.
Can you leave now, you lowlife?
You're thinking that I'm some poor woman is going to cause you a lot of regret here soon.
Why's that, LOL? Aren't you just going to run home crying to that stinky fisherman?
That's right. That's exactly what I plan to do.
Look at me. I have a husband who runs a bank, LOL. There's nothing that moneyless husband of yours is going to be able to do to me. Are you still unaware that my husband and I are part of this city's elite?
Are you saying that it's okay for this city's elite to kick other people that they don't like down the stairs?
Well, that is what I'm saying, LOL. And since you still haven't even paid to be here, I want you gone. It's not like you would even be able to pay for the entrance fee now, right? You're married to a fisherman with only $30 to his name, LOL. Honestly, you don't even have the money to be complaining to me about being kicked, LOL.
All that money he has there, he'll have it moved somewhere else.
$30? Do whatever you guys would like with that chump change, LOL.
And that's what we'll do. I'm going to head home now. And there, I'll talk with my husband about our next steps. I'm just letting you know that all the money we have saved there is going to be pulled out.
Go right right ahead, LOL. That'll have nothing to do with me, LOL. It's hilarious that you even think that doing something like that would be a threat to me, LOL.
Hilarious? I think it'll only end up being hilarious for myself. I'll be laughing all day and night over what'll happen next with your selfish butt.
Huh? You guys only have $30 for crying out loud, LOL.
When did I ever say that my husband only has $30? He has over $300 million, and a lot of it is in your husband's bank.
Huh?
My husband is the kind of fisherman that owns a fleet of large fishing ships.
What do you mean?
I think you have the idea that fishermen are all poor by default, right? Well, I'm sure to someone without a bit of intelligence like you would think so. But in reality, there are fishermen that have very large amounts of money when it comes to their profession. And when it comes to my husband's company, it is very well known by all sorts of other fishing companies as a powerhouse. So that should help you understand him a little better now, right?
Huh? So he's really bringing in millions of dollars for you guys? There's just no way. Is there actually a fisherman with that kind of money? I didn't even think that fisherman made enough money to save up. He should be moneyless, right?
Well, I'm explaining to you right now that you're wrong. Fishermen can bring in huge amounts of money depending on what they do, and some can make millions if they begin to run their own company. It's strange that you never knew about this considering your husband's bank works with a lot of different fisheries. Don't tell me you never actually knew any of that.
Huh? There are that many that have money with him?
And my husband happens to be the one putting most of the money into your husband's bank.
What? Huh? What do you mean, Jane?
When someone ends up having that amount of money sitting in the bank's accounts, it's probably kept a secret, huh? I'm sure you could have never expected something like this, but my husband really is a huge customer of your husband.
What? How can that be?
I told you that this is a small city. Well, my husband now knows about what's happened here, and he's very much pissed. He's even started to think of having you taken to court over this.
Huh? Take me to court? What are you talking about?
You do remember kicking me in the butt and having me fall down a flight of stairs, right?
But that doesn't mean you can just take me to court. That'll cost a lot of money, so you need to stop saying things like that.
Well, I'm sorry, but I have money. You're just upset that you were wrong about me being poor.
But in the past, you really were poor.
That was the past, and we're not in the past anymore. When my husband has to pull all of that money out of your husband's bank, I'm sure he'd like to know the reason why, and we'll make sure he knows about everything. And when that happens, I wonder what could happen with your husband. He might lose the rights to his bank.
Hold on, Jane. What do you mean by that? Are you saying that because of me, my husband is going to lose everything he's worked so hard for?
That's exactly what I'm saying. He'll learn that because of his mistake in marrying a disgusting woman, her horrible choices will ruin his career.
What the hell? You don't have to do this. If something like that happens to him, we'll be in huge trouble. Can you stop talking about that stuff now? I don't like the way you're threatening me.
I'm not threatening you with anything. I'm just telling you what'll happen soon. And it seems that the woman that once made fun of fishermen is going to learn firsthand what they can do. Are you going to be a good girl and take the blame for this? Because you should know dang well by now that your bias against my husband was very wrong.
I still can't believe this. I thought that all fishermen were poor. But now I'm hearing that your husband has been a customer of my husband. Can something like that really happen?
Well, it's been happening, LOL. I'm sure this is too much for you to handle after all the terrible things you said about my husband and I. But I'm sure you understand the reality of your situation now, right? Goodbye now, you selfish jerk. LOL. I'd like for you to experience some pain now.
answer your phone? I'm in a serious pinch now. I want you to do something about this. Please help me.
Help you? Why would I do something like that?
Because it looks like I'm going to have to get a divorce soon, and this was all your fault to begin with. Are you okay with me having to pay for your mistake?
What are you going on about, LOL? There's no way any of this is my fault. You have to take responsibility for all you did, and understand that getting a divorce is the only option your husband has.
You're wrong! Because you told your husband about all of this, my husband ended up finding out as well. He then told me that I've caused some major issues for him at the bank, and that he needs to get rid of me!
Oh, is that so? Well, this is what you asked for, right?
There's no way in hell I asked for this! What did I ever do to deserve this?
You looked at me now the same way you looked at me back in high school. And because of that, you went out of your way to kick me down a flight of stairs at the high school reunion. That's all you happened to do, LOL.
You can't talk to me like that! I am leagues above you now that I've been married to my husband, and I don't want to lose all of this now because of some loser!
But what you ended up doing to me is no small matter, right? I'm pretty shocked that after all of this, you still haven't even given me a simple sorry.
Sorry? You want me to say sorry to you? I have no reason to ever do that now. An elite like me saying sorry to a poor loser like you is ridiculous.
I see. Then you can go ahead and continue with the path you've chosen for yourself. It's all a delusion of yours anyway, but who am I to care?
A delusion? What do you mean?
You said that I can't do anything to you because you're married to a banker. But what happens when you're no longer with him? You'd better hurry up and find yourself another banker so that you can stay safe.
Okay, wait. I'm sorry. I'm really, really sorry. Right now, I'm actually crying really hard while trying to text you. So you should be willing to forgive me now, right?
Is that what you think's going to happen now?
Listen to me, Jane, please.
Seems more like you're ordering me to forgive you. I guess even something as serious as what happened yesterday won't change the disgrace of a woman that you really are. Well, luckily, I'm still very much upset with you over what you did to me in high school, so I'm going to enjoy watching what happens to you next. LOL.
Huh? What?
You picked on me for years, all the way until we graduated from high school, so there's nothing better than watching you get what you deserve. Well, I'm sure things from here on out are going to be pretty rough for you, but do your best.
Wait, if this continues, I'm going to lose my husband and all my money. I can't let people think that I'm poor.
Then maybe it's time you go somewhere where nobody will ever see you again. Goodbye forever, you moneyless dog. LOL. And during the next class reunion, I don't think you'll be able to pay the entrance fee. So don't bother coming, okay? LOL. After that, Eleanor's husband was no longer happy with what she had done as his wife, and so they got divorced. With the divorce, Jane and Joe were now willing to leave a little money in the bank, but still moved half of it as a lesson to anyone who doubted them. This still led to Eleanor's now ex-husband having lots of troubles within his bank. And so, to compensate for his losses, he took Eleanor to court where she was sued for ruining his bank's image. Not only did she end up losing her husband and the money he had for her, but now she faces losing everything else she has to her ex. Eleanor will most definitely have a rough life ahead of her and might as well give up at this point. But this is what she deserves for treating another person horribly, and she should learn from it as best she can. Our condolences to Eleanor.
Hey Tracy, I'm going to be getting married. Did you know that?
Huh? No, I had no way of knowing about that, Naomi. And to be honest, I'm not really bothered by you getting married.
Really? I know you're jealous of me now. But I can understand that since you are 30 years old now and still a single woman, I'm sure hearing about me getting married before you must break your heart. I guess you should have been more aware that women are supposed to get married in their 20s.
I really don't care about what's going on with you, so can you just get on with saying what you have to say?
And since I'll be getting married, I'm going to take a very long time off work to become a wife. Maybe even for the rest of my life.
Is that so? Good for you then. So this is just you trying to rub your marriage in my face then, right? Well, I'm in the middle of work, all right? So I'm going to get right back to it now.
Really? I knew that an old woman like you had far better things to do than be a wife. But listen, you can take just a little bit of your time to continue staring at your phone and talking to me, right? I mean, you've already wasted this much time looking at your phone, right, old lady Tracy?
Would you please not call me old lady Tracy? That is very rude coming from someone like you.
What? But what I'm saying about you is very, very true, right? After all, you happen to be the oldest woman in this department here. And from what I've heard, starting next year, you're going to be transferred to a new department, right, old lady Tracy? Congrats to you then. I'm sure this is you moving up in the company, right? You must be so proud of yourself.
Are you done saying everything that you've wanted to say? If that's so, then I'm not going to waste any more of your time like you've done with me, and I'm getting back to work.
That right there is the reason why everyone hates you. You're a cold-hearted supervisor who doesn't care about any of us.
Excuse me?
I'm just saying that everyone in this department hates you, Tracy. Your character is horrendous, and you like to have fun bossing us all around. I'm sure that you're so happy to be getting a promotion, but from all of our perspectives, we are so thankful that the pile of garbage that was supervising us will be gone.
Is that so? Well, you all can go ahead and continue hating me. It's not going to change my thoughts.
Sure. I keep acting like this isn't all going to your head right now. Well, I guess everyone is right about saying that you have pride so large that it dwarfs skyscrapers. And I'm sure that's why no man ever wants to marry you, right?
And you think you're safe finding a man when he might not even be aware yet just how stupid of a woman you really are?
Huh? What did you just say to me? Don't you ever say that again to me. If you're going to try and make jabs at me like that, then I'm going to tell all the other employees hear what you're saying.
Go right ahead then. Hey, Sam. I just happened to get my invitation from you to your wedding, but it turns out that you're going to be marrying Naomi?
Ah, that's right actually. I've sort of known about how you and she are working in the same company. But well, I didn't want either one of you realizing that, and so I kept you being my older sister a secret from her. And I didn't want to say anything to you about how I want to marry her. But now that I think about it, the company you're working for is really big. So I'm sure you both have never really met before, right?
We are both in the same department, and she happens to sit in the desk next to mine.
What? Are you kidding me? Then that must mean you feel that way about her since she's in the same department as you.
Huh? What do you mean by that?
Well, how should I word this? Well, she happens to be a lot younger than you there.
Ah, I see. So you must have heard some things from her about her position? Well, you don't have to choose your wording wisely with me. You can go ahead and tell me whatever you have to say about things.
Well, she told me about an older woman in her department that's being really strict with all the younger women that are younger than her, and that this older woman has been kind of a bully, really. And, she said that this older woman is in her 30s now, but is still single, and so, because of that, she happens to like picking on the younger women because she's jealous of them. And she finished by basically calling this woman, who I think is you, a really horrendous witch that has her underwear in knots.
So Naomi has started to talk about me that way, huh? She really thinks that I enjoy picking on the younger women in the department because I'm jealous.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure she was just joking about half those things. But well, she also told me that you happen to run into the younger women in the hallway and shove them aside, and when they're working, you'll yell at them for drinking any kind of beverage.
She's the one running into me when I'm walking in the hallway, actually. And when it comes to her drinking during work time, she has a capped bottle she'll bring in filled up with vodka. I can tell it's vodka just by the smell it gives off every time she opens it up to take a sip. I've asked her about it before, yet she never admitted to it being alcohol.
What? But Naomi would never do anything like that.
And if that wasn't enough, she also really loves calling me Old Lady Tracy. And she'll ask me time and time again if I have a man yet. And if this will be the year I get married. Work is not the place for that kind of talk, especially when she asks such things in a very rude manner.
Are you sure? You're sure this isn't just one of the other women at work that you might have Naomi confused with? I mean, you and Naomi aren't even that distant in age, right?
I have no reason to mistake who you're talking about as anyone other than Naomi. She sits at the desk right next to mine, so I'm very aware of who she is. Well, I'm sure from your point of view, you don't want to believe what I'm saying to you. But I'm telling you the truth when it comes to how she acts around me in the office.
I'm sorry. Well, this isn't me doubting you or anything you've been saying. But I've never seen Naomi act in any way that resembles what you've told me. So I just can't trust what you're saying at the moment.
And that makes sense to me. I'm sorry for saying things like this to you after already having chosen the woman you want to marry and finding your true happiness.
Well, I happen to think a lot of things about Naomi, and so...
I know that. Do you mind keeping what we've spoken about here a secret from her? Please?
Huh? But...
I'm asking you to please not say anything to her. I still have a lot of time left to this year where I have to be in the same department as her, and I don't want to end my time in this department hearing all kinds of rumors about her and I.
Well, you have a good point there. All right. I won't tell her anything about today for the time being. However, you still plan to come to our wedding, right?
Well, of course I'm coming. But, of course, when I come, she's going to find out who I am.
It'll be all right. I'm just happy to hear you're still coming. I want to make this a really amazing wedding for everything, so please, never change your mind about coming. And by the way, I'm looking forward to your wedding too.
Now you're going to start going on about me getting married or not?
I'm sorry. That was just a joke. Now, I'll be seeing you at the wedding.
Was the person that I just happened to pass by really you, Old Lady Tracy? Why are you at an event like this? Ah, well, there's a little something about that. What do you mean, a little something? You weren't even invited to this wedding, so why are you here? And you're here a lot sooner than most of the other guests that are coming, right? I haven't even seen any of the guests I've invited come in yet. I knew this would start to be a pain in the butt for me, so I was trying my hardest to hide from you. So you're trying to tell me you wanted to sneak into my wedding without ever being noticed? I cannot believe what I'm hearing from you. Did you really want me to invite you as though you were one of my friends? Can you just leave it? Why do I have to be the one to shut up? You're the one that decided to come to my wedding when I never asked for you to be here. Well, it's been a little bit, so I want to have a chat with you now. I have some time yet until my wedding starts as well, you know. That's right. I guess since the both of us are already here and things have come this far, we should have that chat. Right? Well then, let's go and meet in the lobby of this resort. Now, tell me again why the hell you think I'd want an old dominating lady like you here. You weren't even asked to come to this event, so stop fooling around with me. What is this? You wanted to have a chat with me, and the moment I walked up to you, you poured wine all over me? You should be thankful that was the only thing I chose to do to you today. To be honest, I really, really, really wanted to kick you in the butt and drag you out of here. It wouldn't have been the wine that was red, but your blood had I gone all out with you. Why are you getting so upset right now? You know the reason why. You are messed up in the head. And it's not just me that thinks that, but everyone else that works in the same department as you. None of us even want to see you when we go into work, so what makes you think we'd want to meet you at my wedding of all places? You really have a lot to say. Also, did I just see you talking with Sam a bit ago? You thinking just because you're an old lady, you can have a chance to come here and steal the groom is completely insane. Do you lack every little bit of common sense or something? Unbelievable. No, there's a reason behind that. I don't want to hear any of your excuses. I want you out of this place right now before the rest of my friends from work show up. You being here is causing me all kinds of stress, and it will piss them off as well. I never asked for an old, dominating woman to be at my wedding. And you sure are not going to be talking to my groom ever again. Well, he's my little brother. Huh? Why are you trying to use some stupid excuse like that on me now? Well, go and ask one of the wedding planners here about me. Ask them what the name of the groom's older sister is that will be giving a speech today. Sure thing. I'm going to give them a call right now and ask. Really? I can't wait to start talking to all the others at work about what you've been up to this time. Hey, come on now. It was just a simple joke, all right? I just wanted to see what would happen with you today. I knew you were Sam's sister this whole time, but just wanted to mess around with you a little. And here we go. The moment the tables turn, you run and try to hide behind calling all of this a joke. Well, I've always thought of you as a wonderful woman, Tracy. And since you're always so wonderful, I became a little bit jealous of you, and that led to me spilling that wine all over you and your dress. Look, that wine is expensive stuff, so you should be happy to see it being used on you. What difference does the wine being expensive or not make? I'm sorry about that then. Listen, Tracy, none of this was really meant to be serious. I was just fooling around a little with you since you're my older sister-in-law. So you think by changing your attitude towards me just like that, I'm going to be able to forgive you? Well, I'm sure it won't be that easy for you, but, I am praying that you have it in your heart to forgive someone like me. And, by the way, are you really Sam's older sister? Can you tell me why your last name is different from his? Well, that's because I've been married to another man for a while now. What? I got married right before I entered the company I'm working for at the moment. The marriage took place when I was in my final year of college, actually. And that is why most of the people in the company who work around me believe that I'm still single because they've never heard of me getting married while they've known me. But I'm not single. I've been married for what's almost going to be a decade now. Ah, is that so? Then, what was your original last name? I had the same last name as Sam, Irving. Are you serious? Well, if that's the case, that means I am so very sorry for a lot of things that happened. You think we're still at the point now where you can apologize and everything will be back to normal for you so easily? That dress I was wearing that you spilled the wine on, it is totally ruined now and all wrinkled up, so I'm going to have you pay for it. I'm completely fine paying you back for that dress. I'm more than glad to pay you for that. And you can even make that legal by having a lawyer get involved in everything if you'd like. After all, I'm sure you don't want me getting away with anything now after all the rude things I've done to you before even today. It's interesting that you had a whole excuse made up for all those rude things that you've been saying to me. Yeah, I'm very sorry. I promise to make this apology as wholehearted as I can. So, right. I'm sure that you have been wanting for the two of us, especially me, to sweep all that's happened under a rug and act as though it's never happened, right? Well, if that's not a problem with you, that would be very kind. Right now, we're supposed to be getting ready for our wedding. And as you know, there will be a lot of people here today wanting to see me as happy and pure as I can be before I'm wed to my husband. And if everyone that plans on being here today were to hear about the true me and what I've done, well, that might lead to some very bad things happening, especially to me. What are these bad things you're speaking of? You think that I care about how your actions are going to affect you? Listen, the moment you spilled the wine on me, I could see Sam out of the corner of my eye, and he saw what you were up to. Huh? Are you telling me that he saw what I had done to you? Yeah, he was even looking me right in the eyes as you poured that wine glass on me. I thought he'd come right up to us after seeing something like that happen to his sister by your hands, but then he turned around and walked away. I'm going to guess that what he saw was too much for his own eyes and that it was so shocking that even his heart needs time to think. Wait, that's not good at all. That's totally not good for me. He needs to understand that this was all a huge misunderstanding. A misunderstanding? Hey, Sam, where are you right now? I was looking all over for you, but couldn't find you anywhere. What you saw just a bit ago was all a huge misunderstanding, you know? I just happened to run into your sister is all.
You think I've misunderstood what all of that was about?
Yeah. Look, you know that both Tracy and I are working for the same company, right? Her and I are both very close friends in the office, and we happen to love messing with one another by pouring drinks all over the other's head and body.
Then why, while that was all happening, were you screaming at Tracy? I heard you saying she wasn't invited and that she's an old lady. I never thought that my Naomi would ever use that kind of language towards my older sister, or towards anybody in a negative way.
No, that was just a simple joke is all.
Is that right? So, you must think I'm such an idiot that I'd be able to believe in the most simple and weak excuses like the one you just told me there.
I'm being honest. Believe me.
This isn't going to work. I saw everything that happened there. And also, I've heard about all of this from Tracy herself. About the kind of person you really are deep down.
Who I am deep down?
I've known for a while now that you've been telling me about how you're being bullied by the old woman sitting at the desk next to you at work, right? But according to what my sister has said about you, you're the one who's been saying awful things and picking on her. At first, I wanted to believe what you've been telling me, more than what Tracy was saying. But after what I just saw, I've made up my mind. I can't do this any longer.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean you can't do this any longer?
I'm sorry about this, but the wedding is being canceled now.
What? Wait, that right there is not okay. Like, my family is going to be here as well, right? You have to see that by canceling my wedding, they are going to become so sad.
Well, you've already made myself and my family very sad by pouring wine all over my sister and her dress like that while screaming at her.
But that was...
Don't be worried about a single thing. I'm going to go to both your mom and dad and explain to them what has happened here today. And as for the cancellation fees, I'll be paying for half of them. I think that's a fair way of handling all this. Don't you?
No way. I do not want my wedding to be canceled over something like this. It's not just my family, but all of my friends and a lot of my coworkers as well from work who are coming to see our wedding. If the wedding is canceled on the same day, then I'm going to be completely embarrassed and will never be able to show my face again.
You say that, but from what I've noticed, not a single one of those friends or coworkers that you invited have come to the wedding yet.
What?
However, a lot of the guests I've invited today are already here and are patiently waiting for a wedding that's not going to happen now. When it comes to your guests, besides your parents, I haven't seen anyone else.
Huh? You're lying. Why would none of them come? I went ahead and invited friends from back when I was in college and made sure to invite all of my coworkers from my department as well. Could this be all because of her?
Her?
Hey! What you've done this time has gone way over the line. I invited pretty much everyone in our department, but not a single one of them has shown up to the wedding yet. You did something to keep them all from coming, right? Huh? What are you going on about now? Stop playing dumb here. I don't give a dang how much you hate me. What you've done today was totally not called for, and I am pissed. This is supposed to be the day of your little brother's wedding, and you thought it would be all right to keep half of the guests away from it? You're the worst. Wait, you have it all wrong. I wanted all of your friends and coworkers to come, actually. But they all told me that they had no plans of coming to your wedding. Huh? What do you mean? Well, this happens to be my brother's wedding, and I wanted as many people as possible coming to celebrate it. But when I was at work and went up to everyone asking if they'd be going, all of them replied by saying they were afraid of you. So I gave up on trying to get them to come because I could see they had no interest. I didn't set any of this up, so stop saying that. You're telling me that everyone had the same idea of not showing up to my wedding, and that's why they're all not here? It wasn't their idea, but rather their reactions to everything you've been doing. None of them wanted to be here today because of you. And I don't blame them. You always went around the office all day bragging to them about how you'd be getting married and even belittled some of them. And any of the ones that are married, you started to make fun of their husbands. I don't think a single one of them are your friends anymore, Naomi. Are you sure? That's a little bit unbelievable to me. This isn't just about your marriage either. You always are on your phone when at work, and you will always have one of them doing your work for you. Everyone was so happy to hear from you that you plan to leave the company for a long time. You're kidding. Why would they be happy about that? I get that I wasn't often talked to by any of them while in the office, but that's just because everyone else wanted to be like me and thought of me as the popular kid at work. You can stop thinking crap like that about yourself anytime now. You need to come back to reality and change the way you've been behaving. If you keep acting like a high schooler while at work and even outside of work, nobody is going to like you. Not even your family. No, there's no way. There's no way in hell anyone would hate me like you're saying. You're just lying to me in order to make me feel like I've lost. You're the one behind all that's happened. You tried to make everyone look as though they hate me. And this is all because I'm young and beautiful, and you're jealous of that. You really have no right saying things like that about me when not a single one of your guests have not shown. And I'm glad for them because once again, you're trying to make it seem as though I'm the one who's jealous of you and like I'm the one who caused all of this to happen. But really, all your coworkers and all of your friends know better than to come see more of you when you're acting like a freaking child. Nobody wants to see the wedding of a child, Naomi. Shut up! You're the one that should be in trouble for this. It's because of you that the biggest event in my life has gone to complete crap. I'm going to make you pay for all of this. Make me pay for what? Would you just stop it with this immature behavior? Shut the hell up. I'm going to make you wish you never worked in the same company as me.
Tracy, I'm so sorry about today.
It's fine, Sam. And let's be honest, it was kind of entertaining seeing the bride be taken out of this wedding by the police, right? That's not a normal occurrence. I'm sure this was a good experience for all of us to learn from as well.
I'm sorry. I didn't think she'd be the type to become even more enraged and try to attack you like that. I'm glad the security guard was there to grab her like that. But what if she had gotten close enough to hurt you?
And this is why I was telling you everything about her before. She's a crazy witch.
I see that now. I should have believed you long before today then. But really, back then, I was completely in love with Naomi.
You don't have to defend yourself. It's totally in your rights to defend her, since she's your wife after all. But hey, I'm happy you were finally able to see the true Naomi today. You would have started having to live with her here soon, so things would have been a lot harder on everyone had you not noticed before then.
Right. Thank goodness. Tracy, thank you for all of this.
I haven't really done anything, though. Also, you happen to have an after party to get to now, right? You should go be with your guests.
Well, this is a good place after all. So I suppose it would be right to at least experience the party. And I also don't want to go back home now either, since I'm sort of in a bad mood.
Well, you should go enjoy that party then. Have a good time, all right?
Wait, are you not going to come and party? I want you to be there!
No, my husband and I plan on heading home now. You never invited an old, dominating lady to be at your wedding, right? After being taken into custody by the police that day, Naomi was able to get out of their hands come evening. But even though she was no longer being held in the county jail cell, she was still going to need to pay for the fines she got from the wedding, as well as for the cancellation fee and my ruined dress. All of that stacked up pretty well and led to her having to borrow a lot of money. Naomi had also quit her job the day before her wedding and assumed she'd never need to go back to the office again. But now, with no job and with no man who wants to be around her anymore, her pride has taken a massive hit. And because of that, she's moved back home to her parents' house where she's been hiding away in her room. Both of her parents were kind enough to not throw a woman like that out of their house, and they both believe they can fix her in some way. So these days, Naomi has been sticking close to her parents' house, doing part-time work in order to save up some money and pay off her debts. I find that she fell a long ways down from the belittling jerk that she once was. And since she can no longer hold herself to the standards she thought she had, I think I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of respectable woman her parents can turn her into. As for Sam, he's been saddened by everything that happened and by the fact that he had to leave his wife so soon. But recently, he started to hang out with this new girl, which has me a little worried because she might be just as bad as Naomi. However, I'm going to pray that that's not the case, and that this new woman he's pulled in is a proper adult, and has a heart too. When it comes to myself, I was able to move into that new department as a supervisor, and am now working toward the next promotion that I'm hoping I'll get.
It's not time for you to be leaving yet.
Well, I've finished up all my work for the day. So what's wrong with me heading out of the office early and going out for my evening? I have plans to go meet with a friend of mine out on the town and everything. Do you want to complain about it or something, Rob?
I don't believe that you are finished with all your work quite yet, though. You've just gone and forced all the other coworkers to take your tasks from you. And because of that, a lot of them are thinking that they'll have to stay late again and put in more overtime.
Oh, are you going to try and preach to me about things this time?
No. This isn't me preaching to you about anything, actually. It's just that, well, you have everyone pretty upset over the fact that you're never actually doing any of your own work.
I see. So everyone is going ahead and talking behind my back about me now? That's a little bit of a shock to me, considering I thought all of us were just so close to one another here. I think I'm going to have to bring this up with my dad now. I'll let him know that I'm being picked on by everyone in this whole department.
No, you really don't have to tell your dad about any of this. We are not trying to pick on you in any way. Rather, it seems to be the opposite way around here. None of us are wanting to do anything to make you feel bad in any way. We just have some concerns about you, is all.
So you're telling me that people are not actually talking about me poorly behind my back?
Nobody is talking about you at all in that way, to be fair. None of us have ever been doing that, because we all know to come talk directly to you if we have serious problems. However, I think that time has started to come, hence me talking with you about it right now. You always seem to want to show up to the office whenever you want, and then go home whenever you want. And while in the office, you'll have everyone else in this department do your work for you, as you sit there at your desk, looking at your phone. We are not saying rumors or anything like that behind your back, because we are all way too busy to do so, with all your work being left behind.
Oh? So that's how all of you have thought of me this whole time? Well, to spare everyone else the might of my father, I'll only be telling him that you have been saying bad things about me in the office. I'm sure that my dad will become very upset by something like that. He might even have you fired soon.
I have not been saying anything bad about you, though. I'm just telling you what all of us think about you, and everything has been true thus far. I just want you to know that it'd be best if you started to do your own work from now on, and act a little more serious about your job here.
What? Now you're mad at me? Oh, I'm so scared. I've gone ahead and screenshotted all of these messages you've been sending to me, so you'd better start packing your things up and get ready to go.
Go right ahead and show him. I'm sure that after seeing how this conversation has gone down, he'll understand things a lot better and act upon them.
You think so? Well then, let's both be prepared then. But just know that it's not me who's going to be fired for this one.
Hey, are you Rob from the General Affairs Department here? Yes, that would be me. And who am I speaking to at the moment? So that must mean you're the one that went out of line and started talking down to the daughter of the executive director. Since you appear to not know a thing about the politics within this company, I'm going to have you moved out to the middle of nowhere to work. Are you really sure about that? I want you out of this office right now! Excuse me, David, but from what she told me, your daughter had shown you those screenshots of the texts that had happened between her and me, correct? She sure did show me! And I'm not letting some kind of complete stranger like you go and preach like that to my daughter all the time! No, if you had seen the conversation we'd had, then you'd know that what your daughter has been up to is not okay. I'm not the kind of man that really likes to preach it all to others about how to do their jobs and such. And that's why this time, I chose to just text her about it, so that it would all be in a much more lighthearted fashion. There is nothing wrong with my daughter! And even if she was causing problems for anyone in the company, you were all to look away from it and mind your own business! What? Did you not hear about how she's been pushing all her work off onto other coworkers, and then leaving the office to go home whenever she pleases? This is not the kind of situation where all of us can just ignore what she's doing. And the worst part of all this is that she doesn't seem to understand that what she's doing is wrong. She's not even willing to own up to it in any way. Stop lying to me! My daughter is a perfect and kind little girl. I've heard enough from you now, so get all your things off your desk and leave this office. I'm going to make you head to that small little office out in the middle of the countryside. You're going to have me move to another office all because of this? I think you are best to start thinking with your head on straight, David. The only reason your daughter was even hired into this company is because she's related to you. And now she's going around threatening other coworkers with being fired by her dad. As a working adult, does that not make you or her embarrassed by you guys' actions at all? You. Did you know that recently this company has been experiencing a lot of theft of materials from within its offices? I know about that. I was the one that started to make those posters all over the building, warning people to be more careful with their things to avoid them being taken. The man behind all that theft, it's you, right? Huh? What are you even talking about? That's the reason I'm having you moved out to that smaller office in the middle of nowhere, and your pay cut. I'm going to tell the company president that right now. I'm not going to tell him a thing about how you went against me and started to make nasty comments towards my daughter, and then preach to her about her job. Do you even have evidence of me stealing things from this office? Well, I do happen to have some evidence, actually. I had a camera placed in the break room, where I was able to see every corner of it from. And I just happened to catch loads of videos of you taking things that are not yours! You put up a camera in the break room? You do realize that the break rooms are separated between genders for a reason, right? There are shower rooms and everything in there, so that could be a huge problem for you, having put up a camera in there to watch over everyone. But anyway, I have not been the one doing any of that stealing. Could you show me those videos that you've recorded of me? No way! There happen to be things of it of other employees in this company, and I'd like to keep all that private, of course. So I'm having the videos edited right now to remove all the people who have nothing to do with your crimes. But just know that you are in all of the videos clearly. I know for a fact because I remember every instance of you stealing things. This is my first time ever running into someone as awful as you. Are you not embarrassed by the things you are doing right now? You, even after all of this that I told you about, you still have the drive to want to fight back? You already know you're finished, so all of this fighting from you is useless, and you're making yourself look like even more of an idiot. Go and clean off your desk right now, and then leave this office before this day is over. Understood? Understood. Are you sure you don't want to talk with the company president about all this before I leave? Ha! The company president doesn't need to hear from me about how I'm having some low-level employee like you transferred to a worse office with worse pay. Is that so? Well, alright then. Get out of here, now! It's too bad for you that you had to be born with only half a brain!
Hey, I heard from my dad about everything, you know. He asked for you to get all your things together and get out of the office building. This must have really opened your eyes to reality, right? You are a complete disgrace to this company.
I know. Once I finished up my work for the day, I'm getting all my things together and leaving.
To be honest, I was hoping he would just fire you on the spot, but my dad is a very nice man, so he let you off the hook by having you move to that crappy and old office building. You should be thankful that he didn't take things any further with you.
If anything, I feel sorry that a company like this had to hire such a man as him. I suppose it was kind of him to only have me move to a different office, out of his sight. I'll enjoy a new place of work now, and hopefully, everyone there is a lot better behaved. I've become tired of having to care for the child that was only hired because of her connection to her dad after all.
Such a pile of crap you are, but since you're going to be moving far away from here, I'll forgive you for that one. Good luck with life out there in the middle of nowhere. I hope your life as a thief can be longer lived over in that office.
I am not a thief, and I haven't been stealing anything from this office.
Right? Lie all you want. You even stole my purse, right?
Huh? What are you trying to bring up this time?
I had my purse stolen by you even. I saw it with my own two eyes, actually. I'll let my dad know about that before he leaves the office today.
When did I steal that purse of yours from you?
It doesn't really matter when it happened, right? I saw it with my own eyes, so that's all that matters.
If you saw it with your own two eyes, then you tell me the time and place it happened at. If you really happen to see me stealing your purse in person, then you should know what day and time it took place.
It happened this week, on Monday, at 4:30 in the afternoon. At that moment in time, you came over to my desk and took my purse from me while I was standing down the hallway. And that's when I saw you running off with it. I was on my way back from the toilet and everything. You really are the worst kind of man.
4:30 in the afternoon, huh? That's a very particular time for you to be able to remember that happening at.
Well, of course it is. I have a picture as evidence that I took of it happening, and it says the time it was taken in the picture's info. It says it clear as day, so there's no mistaking it now. You're not going to be able to talk your way out of this one, you thief.
A picture, huh? You're going to find that a lie like that won't be getting you very far. But go ahead, and do whatever you want.
I'm going to do what I'd like. I hope you find life hard at the other office when everyone there knows you as the corporate thief.
Hey, Rob. Tell me what kind of relationship you have with the company president? Excuse me? Why do you want to hear that from me all of a sudden? Right now, he's running all over the office building after coming back from that overseas trip he took, and he's yelling that he's looking for his grandson. Are you really the grandson of the company president? Well, yes, I am. And what does that have to do with anything? Why did you never tell me about any of that sooner? Well, had I told everyone that I'm the grandson of the company president, everyone in the company would start to treat me way too kindly, right? So I've kept that a secret this whole time, in order to keep balance and equality here. And luckily, our last names are different from one another, so nobody would have even been able to tell. So you really are his grandson? So you really are related to the freaking company president? Well, that's what I'm saying now. All right. I'd like you to come back to this office building at once and return to your desk. Huh? You don't have to put in any more time over at that crappy office. Come back here and return to your previous job. You should be able to make it back here before lunch, right? What are you going on about right now, David? You told me yourself before I left that place that I was never to leave this smaller office ever again, and that I'd be working here for the rest of my life, right? Well, things have changed drastically! When you say things have changed, is that because I'm the grandson of the company president? I do not want to be treated special because of my connection to him. I like to work with my own strength here, and that means I don't have anything to do with my grandpa. No, that's not what all of this is about. Now just hurry up and get back in here. I do not want this turning into any more of a problem than it already is. I'll go talk with the company president right now and try to calm him down for you. I'm sorry, but I'm not coming back. I happen to have a lot of work that needs to get done over at this office now. You are being a real pain in the butt for me now! Do you have any idea what'll happen if the company president catches on to what's happened? I don't care what happens. You're the executive director, so that's going to be your problem, not mine. But of course, he's going to be pissed with what you've done. He happens to hate when things don't happen according to plan, especially when it has to do with one of the higher-ups in the company. I can see that you think you're all special now. This is your last chance. Are you really sure you don't want to come back to this office and make things right for everyone? Even if I wanted to come back, I can't do it today. I happen to have a lot of work that needs to get done, and I'm not going back until it's all handled. For fuck's sake! David? It appears that you were contacted by the company president. You told him that you had found me to be the one who stole your daughter's purse, and that's why you had me kicked out of that office and moved out here. I did tell him that, because it's the truth. The fact that you had the nerve to steal my daughter's purse. I even gave you a chance to come back after kicking you out, but you said no to it. So this will all be your fault now. But you didn't have any evidence of me being the one to steal it, right? I don't think that it was the most brilliant idea trying to paint me as the thief, all just to have a reason to kick me out of there. Are you trying to smart-mouth me now? You're a freaking idiot, Rob! Alyssa happened to see you do it with her own eyes, and that's enough evidence for me. Also, with the camera I placed in the men's break room, I was able to catch you on it stealing it, and I know for a fact that's you! Then could you please tell me when it was that I was in the break room, stealing things? You happen to have video evidence of it, correct? That should mean that the time and everything of the incident are on that video recording as well. I have the time. This Monday, at 4:30 in the afternoon. The time of all this happening is in the bottom left corner of the video, so there's no mistaking it now. You went into the break room while everyone else was just leaving to get back to work, and you started sifting through people's bags and jackets. You thought that was the perfect chance to get away with it all, right? I see. Then this means that at 4:30 in the Monday of this week, I was in the men's break room, right? There are no mistakes with any of that information, right? Right. That's all correct. No mistakes. I can show you the timestamp and everything on the video recording later if you want. But it seems that your plan to steal everyone's things was never going to work out for you, huh? If you really want to think that this video is edited in some way, to make you look as though you stole those things, remember that I was in the group of men walking out of here, and I did not see you leaving the break room. So you were definitely behind all of this. I'm sorry to have to ask you this, but did you talk with Alyssa at all about the time that video recording of me stealing things from the break room took place? Huh? Why are you asking me that? Well, it just seems to me that there's something not quite right with all of this. From what Alyssa was telling me about me stealing her purse, she said it took place at 4:30 in the afternoon, on Monday. That's apparently when I went to her desk and stole her purse. Huh? And if you think that I'm mistaken, She told me she took a picture of me stealing her purse and all, and the time on it says 4:30. But even with that detail, you are telling me that at that time, I was in the men's break room stealing from them? How was I in two completely different parts of the office building at the same time? What? Wait a moment. I'm going to have a talk with her. Sure, go right ahead. Hey, Alyssa! Why did you not explain things to Rob like we had both discussed? I told you that at 4:30, I'd be saying he was in the men's break room stealing things, right?
Huh? No, I thought that we agreed that at that time he was going to be in my office stealing my purse off my desk.
I never agreed to you saying he was stealing your purse at that time?
This is your fault this time, Dad. Why are you going to try and blame me for you not telling him the right times we'd planned on? You were the one that messed up this time. You told me that we'd be able to do all of this easily and make him look like the thief so that we could get him out of this office without being caught.
And that's still the plan. I've been trying to help you get rid of him by painting him as the thief.
You are not helping me out, though. You totally forgot about the times we had agreed on.
But I explained to you before about how I have him recorded on the camera I placed in the men's break room and everything, right?
I never heard about all that from you. Are you kidding me? What are you doing? The only time we weren't going to have an alibi from the other members of this department was during the time I was with Rob, right? And that all took place at 4:30, so you were supposed to give a time besides that. Now, when they're questioning me on why he was in two different locations at 4:30, they're going to find a hole in our lies and blame me.
You'll be all right. They haven't started looking for anyone just yet who is behind this. And they haven't even began asking for all the evidence we have. Now, for the time being, leave all of this up to me. And just stand by and wait for me to be finished with it. Okay?
Huh? Are you trying to say that I'm getting in your way now?
Well, wait, that's not what I said!
Telling your own daughter to sit one out while you go and handle everything alone is the worst. Whatever, I don't care what happens to you now.
Alyssa!
Hey, you happen to be the grandson of the company president, right? I don't happen to have the phone number of the company president on me, so I'm going to tell you this so that you can tell him. The man that's been behind all of the theft within the company is my dad, David.
Excuse me? What do you mean by that?
I just told you what I mean. The man that's been going around stealing everything here is the executive director. My dad.
But you were saying before that you saw me with your own eyes, stealing your purse out of your office, right? You're starting to contradict what you've said before now.
I happened to make a mistake then. You and my dad happen to look very similar after all. Anyway, I want you to tell the company president everything I just said to you. Understood?
I do not want to become involved in whatever fight you're having with your father at the moment. And really, you don't have to worry about what's been going on in the company anymore, because the two of you will be getting fired here shortly. So maybe it's best you both just forget about whatever plan you made to have a reason for me being kicked out of that office, and just make up.
Huh? Why do I have to be fired as well?
Well, that's because you've been the one going around the office building stealing people's things from them.
Huh?
Let me tell you right now. Everyone here has seen you stealing things off their desks and out of their bags. That's why during these past few days, I've been going around gathering evidence of it and making an investigation. You did know that there are security cameras all over the office building's interior, right? Besides the break rooms, of course.
Security cameras? There are security cameras all over this office building's interior?
Yes, of course. And your father, the one who is the executive director for that office building, should have been aware of that as well. And well, on multiple of those cameras, we have video evidence of you stealing. And of course, the company president has watched through all of the recordings.
Lies. These are lies, right?
None of this is a lie. You're most likely going to be sued by multiple different people for this now. So I suggest you find yourself a really good lawyer. But if you don't want that, then maybe you need to start giving everything you've stolen back to the victims.
Well, it's not a problem for me. I still have my dad around to help me out of this.
Interesting. You were just going on about how he's been the one behind all of this. And now you want his help defending you?
My dad is a very kind man, so he'll forgive me for this. What? He's not answering his phone. What's going on here?
Did he go ahead and send you straight to voicemail or something? I'm sorry, but the company president has already gone and dealt with your father.
What do you mean? Then what am I going to do about this?
Well, now that your father, whose position you abused, is no longer around, there's nothing you can do. I think the first thing you can try doing is going up to everyone you stole from and try apologizing to them.
Shut up! I'm going to go and find my dad right now.
Rob, I'm so sorry about so many things. Out of my own selfish anger, I had you relocated to another office building and your pay reduced. And I also tried to paint you as the thief. That's right. And these apologies from you are well deserved. But being moved to another office building isn't that much of a problem for me. Everyone that's working out at this location are very nice people. And they've all been teaching me all sorts of things that even I never knew about the company. And the best part of all out here is there is nobody like your daughter here who is brought into the company because they're family and never get any work done. I can't really say anything to that now. I know that. Now, is that all you have to say? You're not going to ask me to say anything to my grandpa as a way of having him pardon you or anything? No. This was just meant to be me apologizing to you. I'm going to be leaving this company now. And on my way out, I'm going to apologize to every single person here for what I've done. Well, if that's how you're handling things now, then that must mean the company president towards you pretty well, right? I understand completely now why he was that mad with me. He was not going to take any of my crap from me, and he made that very clear. Just a bit ago, Alyssa ran into the room while he was yelling at me, and after he asked for me to leave his office, I could hear him tearing her a new one from the other side of the door. And when everything went quiet, the door opened, and she walked out looking like a zombie. That's the first time I've ever seen anything like that. Not even I'm able to picture how upset my grandpa must have been with you both. And I happen to be his family. At home, he's yelled at my mom and dad all the time, but never in a way that zombified them. But of course, I am his grandson, and he'd never ever want to yell at me about anything at home. However, that doesn't mean he wouldn't yell at me like that when I'm one of his employees, and I've screwed up as bad as your daughter and you have. Well, anyway, know that I really am sorry about what happened. I promise that my daughter and I will never show up to this company again. That is a promise. Okay? Alright. Please do that. This company was made by my grandpa, and to me, it's a very important place. And so, having two people as selfish and crazy as you around here will not be tolerated ever again. And I'll make sure of it. Goodbye. After that, both David and his daughter Alyssa were fired from the company and kicked out of the office building. When it came to the money that Alyssa had to pay all of the victims, she never bothered to acknowledge any of it, and asked her father to pay it all instead. But her father had realized he was no longer going to spoil his daughter, and he said no when she came and asked for his help. In the end, she had to end up borrowing a lot of money to pay all the victims, and is now facing a lot of debt that she'll need to pay off somehow. After seeing the company president so angry at them, neither one of them wanted to work corporate anymore, and things between them really started to become distant. David started to seclude himself inside his house for a long time, never coming out to do anything in fear of seeing employees from the company. And Alyssa has started to work during the nighttime, working jobs that most women her age would be too afraid of. The company president went ahead and apologized for never noticing something as bad as what happened going on inside his company, a few days after firing David and Alyssa. He then followed that by saying he'd start to build a much closer and tighter workplace, where everyone could speak up about things without fear of there being a higher-up that would attack them. A few weeks after that, everyone in the office began to notice how much more relaxing work could be when that father and daughter duo were no longer around. My grandpa later asked me if I wanted to come back to the head office and work there again. But after what had happened, everyone there knew I was his grandson, and so I had to say no. I'd much rather work out in the countryside anyway, where people don't know my connections to the company president, and where everyone is just nicer to me. I told my grandpa that I want to work in a place where I'm not treated any better due to my connections, and that I wanted to keep working hard, so that I may one day be in his position as company president.
Hey, old man. You were acting all tough earlier today when giving me those instructions, right? I think you'd better think twice next time before doing that.
Excuse me? What are you talking about?
I think you know who I'm the daughter of, right? If you keep something like that up with me, then you'll never have a chance of moving up here.
Moving up? I know that you're the daughter of Mr. Sanchez, but I had heard from your manager that your attitude is something that needs to be adjusted. And so I was around today to see how things were going with you and to give you some help.
That right there. I'm telling you that the way you're talking to me is not okay. I'm not the kind of person you're allowed to boss around like that. I am the daughter of this department's director. Please look at the position you're in and think if it's really okay for you to talk to me that way.
Are you sure that you're not the one that should be looking at the position you're in and getting a better understanding of it?
Excuse me?
Everyone here knows that the only reason you were hired into this company is because of the connection you have. But I'd like you to stop thinking that gives you any power over me. You are just another new hire to the rest of us. You should be thanking me for taking the time to give you some pointers today on becoming a better employee. Being as blunt as you are with all your coworkers and management is not acceptable here.
Do you even know who my father is?
I told you I do. How many more times are you gonna ask me that? I don't think there's any reason for you to ask me that though. And did you not understand the meaning of the message I just sent you a second ago? Right now you are acting in a way that your father, Mr. Sanchez, is not happy with. At this moment, there are plenty of people here that are upset with your father because of you.
They're not upset with him. They're all afraid of him, and so they won't do a thing about me being his daughter. I'm really not sure why you keep acting like you know better than me here, but I'll have my father come and tear you a new one.
I'll have him do that with you.
Huh? Why would he do that to me?
If he learned about the way his daughter acts while being here, he'd be disappointed. He's a very serious and diligent man.
I have no idea what you're wanting to say here, but old man, think about the position you're in for me, please. If you act out any more with me, then I'm going to make you regret ever working for this company in the first place.
I wonder if you could really do that. For the time being, Faye, I would like you to continue your work here with a more acceptable attitude, please. I am allowed to ask this from you, and I don't want to have to ask you again. So make sure to change the way you're acting here, or else things will not go so well for you. I think you can understand what I'm asking here, right?
I have not a single clue what you're asking me. I don't even have the time right now to talk with you, old man.
You were the one that began texting me, hence my reply to you and your attitude. I, myself, am a very busy man and have things to return to, so I'll be going.
Tomorrow, you'd better act like a well-trained dog, old man.
I'm only 40 years old, Faye.
Well, compared to me, you're old as a rock. Please think about what I've said to you today. If you don't, you'll have to bring some lube to work with you before getting talked to by him.
Perhaps it'll be you that'll have a talk with your father. I think that would be much more beneficial to the company.
Idiot! Was that coffee pretty delicious?
You really went and spilled coffee on me now, huh? What exactly made you think something like that was a good idea?
Do you know who my father is?
You're a rude one. You already asked me that question twice yesterday, and here you come again with it.
My father is the director of this department. I have more power than you do because of that. So do you think you can stop trying to talk to me like you have been all the time, old man? I had to spill that coffee on you today because you wouldn't stop complaining about me.
I'm going to have to teach you directly then that you have no power here. And not even your dad, being the director, will save you.
What are you talking about? Have you gone insane now, Grandpa? I was going to tell my father about how you acted towards me today and have him chew you out. But then I decided spilling coffee on you would be more effective, and man, was it funny watching you react to that. I think I'll forgive you now. But don't you ever come up to me saying weird things again.
Was the weird thing I said to you today me giving you some instructions?
That's right. What is it with you and thinking you can tell me what to do? You are not the kind of person that's allowed to talk to the director's daughter that way. You should be thankful that I was willing to forgive you after I spilled my coffee on your head.
What do you think you are doing to this company's CEO?
Huh? The CEO?
This is your father speaking with you right now.
Huh? Dad?
You come down to my office right now, you idiot.
Hold up, Dad? Why are you upset with me? What's this about the CEO?
I just had a word with your dad, and I believe he wants you to come down and speak with us.
My dad was super pissed at me, but I had no clue about you, and so all of this was bound to happen.
I'm done with you, Faye. After how hard your father went into you over how you've been treating me, you still don't understand the seriousness of the situation? You seemed pretty full of yourself when in his office. Are you going to listen to what he told you, or not?
But I was thinking you were just some old man that's useless to the company. However, you're saying you've been the CEO this whole time? Are you sure you're not a fraud or something?
A fraud? Stop trying to be funny, Faye. It's because of what you've done today that your father had to get on his hands and knees and apologize to me.
Huh? Why did my dad do that? I told you guys that I just didn't know. Just assumed you were an old man on his way out of here.
You not even knowing who your own CEO is definitely something I should have expected from you.
But everyone else never spoke to you like you're the CEO of this company. So that means you're just a fraud, right?
Can you please stop with the fraud talk, please? Is that the only response you have to me now?
Well, it's the truth, though, right? Everyone just calls you Craig, so I assumed you were nothing more than a base-level employee.
And that's because I don't like being called anything besides my first name.
You really don't want people calling you Mr. Turner or Sir? Why not? Would you give up on trying to cover up the fact that you're in fact a fraud?
I would rather just have everyone call me Greg. I enjoy running a company where everyone can feel close to one another and don't have to feel distant when coming to talk with me.
And it's that kind of stupid idea that made me think you were nothing more than an old man. If I'd actually known that you were the CEO of this place, then I would have never did what had to be done to you.
What are you talking about, Faye? Whether I'm the CEO or not, you pouring coffee on someone above you is not acceptable. Actually, pouring it onto anyone is unacceptable. I've seriously had enough of you here. Do I really have to tell you that for you to understand? That is supposed to be common sense to everyone as an adult.
I really do not know what the hell you keep going on about. Can you explain all of that to me again in a language that I can actually understand?
Is that what you want? I totally overlooked you being the type of person that needs everything explained to you in a childish manner for you to understand it. Let me tell you that just because you're here because of your connection to your father, that does not mean you get any sort of special treatment. And you never seemed to understand that, did you? You seem to have thought that you could do whatever you want because you're the department director's daughter. But that's not the case. And I, the CEO, shouldn't have to be telling you something as basic as that either. All you've shown to me today is that you don't have an ounce of common sense in that head of yours.
Well, you can say all you want, but I'm still young.
Everyone else that was hired in with you is your age. The age of the people that are hired is not the problem here. But really, I never expected the day to come that one of my very exceptional employees would have to come apologize to me the way your father did.
Making my dad apologize to you like that is screwed up, by the way. Are you Satan or something? Why would you do that to my poor dad?
I totally forgot. You need things explained to you like you're a baby. You did something very bad today, and your daddy had to say sorry because you don't care about him. Does that help?
Huh?
It's because of you that your father had to come and apologize like that to me. I've even explained that to you in your language now, yet you're acting like you still don't understand?
It's my fault that my dad had to do that?
So that means you still don't understand what you did to me? I cannot believe there are people your age that act like you are. You spilled coffee onto the CEO of this company on purpose. Don't you think your father getting all up in arms like that with you was justified?
Well, I guess that was a little too far now that I think about it. But it wasn't like the coffee was that hot, right? If you don't have any injuries, then is there really a point for getting upset with me?
I think we were more surprised at what you've done to me than anything else. You're fired, Faye. I can't deal with your crap anymore.
Huh? I'm the one being fired? Why me? You're wrongfully firing me. What is wrong with you, old man? You can't fire me without a good reason.
Oh, come on. Say please. I really don't want to have to sit here all day explaining obvious things to you. Did you seriously not see anything wrong with pouring coffee on me like you did today? I am not going to allow someone as ridiculous as you to continue working for me. I'm tired of you acting like an idiot, but I also don't want to watch your father have to apologize for your actions again.
Do you really think I'm the one that did that to my dad? I didn't do anything to cause him to become embarrassed by me.
I'm going to need to call my doctor tonight. Need a refill on my prescription because of how terrible of a headache you've given me. I'm sorry, Faye, but you literally spilled coffee not only on your boss, but your father's boss as well. And you did it on purpose. What makes all of that even worse, though, is that the coffee ruined my new suit that I had imported from Italy. All of that right there should be more than enough to get you to come apologize to me. Yet, for some reason, you have no desire to do so yet. That right there shows me enough.
I do want to apologize. Sorry.
I had to tell you to apologize to me for you to do that.
But I apologized, right? So we can be done with all this now. Can't you see that I've learned whatever lesson you wanted to teach me and I can go back to work now?
Faye, I wish there was a hotline I could call to help you get the help you need. But there isn't. So the best thing I could do for me and everyone else here is fire you.
Huh? If you do that, my dad's going to be pissed at you next. You don't even have the right to fire me, even though you're the CEO. Oh, I could start going around saying that you overworked me and some other things to make you get fired.
I'm sorry, but you haven't been here long enough. Only a few weeks, and that's not enough to make such a claim. And since there was a reason to fire you in such a short time frame, it will be understood that what you did was very unacceptable within my company, and then that claim of yours will go right in the trash. I think trying that would be a huge waste of your time, but do whatever makes you happy.
What? So then I'm really being fired right now? Is my dad okay with you doing that to me? No way, right?
Well, if it makes it any better, your dad said he'd agree with me firing himself as well as you.
Huh? My dad said that?
He felt responsible for what you done, but I'm not going to fire him. He is one of my best employees, and losing him because of his mentally handicapped daughter's actions wouldn't be fair. So I think your dad is totally alright with me firing you. So go and grab all of your things off your desk and leave my building. Just a bit ago, when you met with your father and I, you didn't even bother saying and apologizing to me then. So I'm afraid you don't have anything to say to me directly now either, nor will you listen to me.
Hold on, please. I wanted to apologize to you then, but I just assumed then wasn't the best time since my dad was so angry. I was just going to wait for a better time.
Well, this is the result of you misreading the atmosphere. Ugh, good luck at whatever company hires you next. But it won't be any company in this part of town, I'm afraid. I'll make sure to explain what happened with us that led to your very early termination. I think finding a job around here, after this, is going to be difficult for you.
Huh? Wait, if you start going around and telling other companies about me, I'll be screwed. And now my dad's starting to tell me to leave the office and go away. He doesn't even want me going back to my parents' house now. If all of this is for real, then I'll be royally screwed, Craig.
Not my problem. I have a headache now, so I'm not gonna think much about your future. The best I can say for you to do now is to go back to elementary school and start over again. Now, I need to get going to the pharmacy to grab more meds for my blood pressure. Can you hurry up and get lost already?
So you're going to be just like my dad? How am I supposed to go back to elementary school at my age?
Jesus. That was a joke, Faye. I swear, the actual thing you need to do is go book yourself into the nearest mental clinic and have them do a psychiatric exam on you. But that's up to you. There's nothing left I can do with you now, and thank God for that. Now, thank you for your 2.5 weeks here.
You're just going to leave me?
And I'm pulling the cost of my new imported suit from your next paycheck. I mean, your only paycheck.
Huh? Are you kidding me?
It's either that, or you pay me right now for the suit. At least be happy that you'll still be getting $100 or so from me.
Wait a minute. Please think about all of this.
My head hurts too much to think. Bye. There's a clinic down the street you can walk to that takes people without appointment, so go there.
In the end, Faye was fired from her job and thrown out of the office building. And not even her dad said anything else to her, instead choosing to completely forget about her as his daughter. He and his wife then cut ties with her and told her to never enter their house again. And as Craig had said to Faye, there would be little chance of a company near his office being open to hiring her, and so she was forced into a tough situation which her life teetered on. The following day, she came back to the office when Craig was walking into work and tried to apologize and ask for another chance. But he lashed out on her hard and forced her to pay for his ruined suit right then and there with whatever she had on her. And once she had emptied her purse of pretty much any money she had, he had security come escort her outside the office complex, and that was the last time she was ever seen by anyone. I'm sure that some of this had to do with her being spoiled at birth, but there is also the fact that she really did seem to have something wrong with her. Everyone at the office, including Craig even, hopes that wherever she is now, she's getting the help she needs.